How to love a woman, and we're going to talk about a mama's boy. I want to start out. I remember when I think about this topic, because we all know some men who are mama's boys, and I remember whenever I think about this, I was thinking about I had to be about maybe 5 or 6 years old, and my mother. I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, because my dad was getting his master's degree at Brown University, Ivy League school there in Providence, Rhode Island. He was getting his master's in French. My dad's gone on to be with the Lord. It's been quite a few years, but he was a beast. He was a smart guy, spoke 3 languages fluently, French, Latin, and Spanish. He was a beast. I mean, he was an incredible guy. I love my dad so much. But I was in Providence, Rhode Island, and I remember my parents had threw me a birthday party. I was like 5 or 6 years old. And so I was at the door, kind of checking folk in, being 5 and 6. I'm excited because it's my party. And, so I'm sort of, I collect the gift. Hey, how you doing? Boom, boom, boom. Go on past me, going upstairs. But I was checking the door to make sure you had a gift. So this lady came with her son. And it's been years. I wish I would know what happened to this guy. But this lady came with her son, and the guy had 2 gifts. So I was like, okay, I like this guy already. I don't, when you're young, Jerry Seinfeld said, when you're young and when you're old, the same thing happens on your birthday. When you're young, when you're a little kid or you're a baby or what have you, and when you're, 90 years old or so, and they give you a party, when you're those 2 ages, people pick your friends for you. They tell you, they sit you down, they say, these are your friends. And that is so true. So, but anyway, I didn't know this guy, but he brought 2 gifts, and I'm like, okay, this is a solid guy here. So I went to collect both gifts, and the mother said, no, his mother said, no, he's got a, I don't know what his name was, but she said, no, he's got both, one gift for you, the other gifts for him to open. And I looked at them, I looked at my mother, I'm like, okay, what is the deal here? She said, yeah, and she looked at my mother as they were getting ready to walk past me to go into the party, and said, and she looked at, and she spoke to my mother, she said, yeah, if he don't have a gift, and he sees other people opening gifts, he's gonna have a fit. And I was so mad at that. I'm 53 years old, and I've never forgotten that. And I told my mom, I said, don't ever invite that guy no more. Don't invite them. The fact that his mother couldn't teach him to learn for other people. It ain't always about you. It ain't always, lady, it ain't always about your son. And let me see if I can lower the screen a little bit. I feel like Mr. Potato Head here. All right, yeah, give me more of me in here. Yeah, I felt like, I was like, what's the deal here that this guy's got to have a gift? And you're not training him as a man to what kind of foolishness is that? I'm at my party with my gifts, and this guy's sitting across the room, like number 45, open it up and he got to have a gift too. I'm like, man, what is this? I'm like, Mom, don't invite that guy no more. And that's not. And I realized, I said, man, this guy here, this is perfect example of a mother's boy. Many of you women in your quest to be in a relationship have run into mama's boy. Some of you are dating a mama's boy right now. Even worse, which is rough, some of you have married this mama's boy. And we're going to talk about it tonight the best we can. It's something else. It's something else. But a mama's boy is a man who hasn't separated all of his spiritual and emotional ties when it comes to the original bonding that took place when she carried him in her womb. You can be in a relationship with a mama's boy, but it's still his mother that receives most of his time and attention. Y'all know anybody like that? He really doesn't know any other way. And his mother never did the necessary things to free her son of the connection. And she really doesn't want that connection to be freed. Many times when a mother will not let go of a son, it's because of many reasons. There's several different reasons why. One, this is the biggest one. Her marriage or her relationship is missing something. Her marriage or relationship is jacked up. And I think it's so unfair for women to take their sons and try to make their sons be a part to fill in the missing pieces in their life. Ladies, if you're doing this to your sons, this is so selfish. It's one of the most selfish things you can do, and you're not preparing him to be a decent man for another woman. You're enabling him to stay with you, and you're not doing what you need to do in order for him to be the man that he needs to be. So one of the reasons why mama's boys are created is a woman's marriage or relationship is jacked up. Two, she's not in a relationship. She hasn't been able to find what she wants or been able to grasp and be in a decent, something solid in terms of a relationship. So she ends up doing that. Sonia Rosser said, spoiled. Is that the same? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You can spoil your son. There are some mothers who have spoiled their sons, but they've been able to, when it comes time to push them out of the nest, so to speak, they're able to do that. Rob Hubbard says a mother has to cut the umbilical cord. You're absolutely right. She has to do it. It's absolutely necessary. And it's an invisible umbilical cord. And many of you have dealt with these men, and the cord is still attached. And you can't even get in there like you want to as a woman. Jackie says the woman is lonely. That's a part of it. That goes with number one and number two. Marriage or relationship is jacked up. You're going to be lonely. You're not in a relationship. You're going to be lonely. Stephanie Browder says, I don't think so. I spoil my boys, but they are independent. So that's proof right there. What Stephanie Browder just said, what I just said, in terms of, somebody can be spoiled, but they can still, sometimes a mother can still separate herself so these boys can grow up to be independent men apart from their mother. LaTanya, the reason why, I'm going through the list here, the reason why some mothers won't cut the cord is one, nobody wants to be in a relationship. Women are emotional. Women are emotional, and Rob Hubbard, that's one of the things Rob Hubbard just said. A mother wants to feel that protection. So if she can't feel it from a man, she's going to gravitate toward the next best thing, and that's going to be her son. There's an amazing bond between a mother and a child, period. But there's even more of an amazing bond, and it's something that happens in the womb because of her carrying that son. It's just again, if you lose your daughter, you're going to be grieved beyond what words could even say. But we've seen, TV program stuff, when the son, something happens to somebody's son, the mother you can't even explain it. And I'm not even going to try to explain it. You can't explain it. That bond between a mother and a son, it's deep. So, but it takes a wise woman. It takes a woman who understands that she needs to push her son out of the nest, not only for his good, but for her good. So the reason why a mother won't let go of her son, her marriage relationship might be jacked up. She's not in a relationship. 3, severe emotional issues from her youth. There's some serious things that she's dealt with in her youth, and there's some things that have just jacked her up so much that anything that's a part of her, she has a hard time, whether it's a son or a daughter, letting go. Zechariah says, true man of God, they need to have a balance on how they treat their sons. You're absolutely right. Rob, I'm getting ready to go to that scripture in a minute. I got it coming up. Number 4, it could be the loss of another child. If you all get a chance, if you're members of Amazon.com, Amazon Prime, you know, you have the free movies. My wife and I watched this movie last night on Amazon Prime, and it was a movie with Helen Hunt in it. Remember Helen Hunt from Twister? You know, Twister and Mad About You. She was, I'm not gonna tell you the whole thing because you're gonna go watch it. But she was a mother who had a son who died. I'm not gonna tell you how he died. But then she had another son, and she was so, She was so messed up because she had taken her eyes off the first son, and somehow he got killed because she had taken her eyes off of him. And because of that, she made sure when she had the next son that wasn't going to happen, that she was never going to take her eyes off of this next son because she lost her first son. As a mother, you can understand that. I mean, but it was times 10. It was times 10 of anything that you ever could understand. If any of you ever seen that movie with Helen Hunt, you can look it up. Let me know what the name of it is. But my wife and I, we watched it yesterday. And she, I mean, when I tell you, she would not let this second son out of her sight. This boy, I mean, he just wanted to be a man. He wanted to, he wanted to get out and do some things. This whole thing of losing a child, it affected her marriage. She lost her marriage. I mean, watch the movie. It's a heart-wrenching movie. And then the last reason why a mother won't let go of her son is there are some women out there who are just plain old selfish. It ain't because of no man. It's not because of no other situation. They're just plain old selfish. All right. Are y'all still with me? I'm getting this low network connection. I just want to make sure that you all are still with me. Hopefully it'll pass in a second. Let me know if you all can still see me, and I will continue. I don't want to continue, and there's a gap in the programming here. So I'm going to give you a second just to let me know if you actually still see me. Matter of fact, I'm going to go online here just to make sure, check another source here just to make sure that you all can see me here. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, we're back. All right. Okay, we're back. I didn't say anything. I just sort of waited until the connection came back. Y'all give me a second. We'll let everybody know that we're back. Did everybody, we good? Let me know if we're good. Let me know if the signal's tight and we're ready to continue. Let me know if you're still with me and that we can continue. I'm so sorry about that. Somebody said to close it out and reopen. All right. Y'all let me know if you're with me. All right, we should be back. Okay, we're back. Thank y'all for hanging in there. Sorry about the, amen. Yeah, let's rebuke the enemy, this technology here, getting in this technology. But we are back. All right, let me make sure here, get my notes in place. All right, here we go. All right, sorry about the interruption. Let's get back to our deal here. If you look at the Bible says in Genesis 2:24, and Rob said it, Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. We all heard that about the leave and cleave. That is so important. You cannot cleave until you leave your mother and father, because this relationship will interfere with the bonding of someone else. A man must leave his mother. You've got to do it. This is harder if the mother does not have a healthy relationship with her husband or a healthy relationship, period. If she doesn't have a husband and the son has played an emotional role for her as a husband, she's going to have a hard time letting this person go. She will fight to keep her little husband, because see, what we men don't realize who are mama's boys, you may not realize it. You might think you're a grown man, you might think you're independent, but you're actually your mother's little husband. That's deep right there. And you're and you could be her little husband subconsciously or consciously. She could be doing it subconsciously, may not realize her life is all jacked up. Again, that movie Helen Hunt, with Helen Hunt in it, y'all need to go watch that. It took her a minute to realize what the deal was with her. But you're going to have to look for ways to break the bondage in this situation. You will have to be firm. So how does a mama's boy break away? You have to be firm as a man. You can love your mom, but you've got to let them know that you've got to be free to have a life outside of them. It is not your wife's responsibility, if you're married, to set the boundaries with your parent. So if you're a mama's boy and you're in a marriage, it's not your wife's responsibility. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even put that on your wife, because you're going to create a much bigger wedge between your wife and your mother if your wife is frustrated to the point that she has to check your mom or say something to your mom. I mean, you're putting your mom and you're putting your wife in a very bad situation. Doc, you got to handle it on your own. You got to handle this yourself. Don't put your wife, you're not stepping to the plate like a man really should, as is. Don't make it even worse by you not stepping to your mom and trying to get your wife to do what you're too scared to do. Your life depends on it, man. You may be with a great woman who really loves you, who really wants to love you, but you're doing some jacked up things because of this connection that you have with your mom. All right. When a wife doesn't feel secure, and this happens when she realizes she's married to a mama's boy. When a wife doesn't feel secure in the bonding with the relationship, she will act out in many ways. She may withhold sex. There'll be a lot of yelling, arguing, leave. She might leave. She might go through a depression. She might go through a disconnection. Tamika said, what if he feels like he has to keep his mother and his sister under his umbrella because they have no one? It causes confusion. That's a good question. You've got to understand, somehow you've got to explain, pray, of course. And hopefully if this is your husband, if you're dating this person and it really seems like it's a rough situation, sometimes you have to walk away. I mean, but if you're married to this person, don't walk away because of that. But you've got to instill in him, how important it is that your needs are met as a wife, and he can still look out for his mother and his sister, and can still look out for them, but you've got to be able to come first. And you're going to have to probably I would suggest counseling, going to some type of counseling and sit down with somebody. So, because sometimes he may, even if he's going back and he's complaining about you to his mother and to his sister, they may be telling him things to further separate you two. And he may think that anything that's coming from out of your mouth is because you're trying to be selfish. So sometimes, God bless you, Maria, sometimes it takes an outside party to actually explain, particularly maybe another man, pastor, somebody, to explain how important it is for, him to make sure that he makes you comfortable in your marriage relationship by putting you first. So you're going to have to, I would suggest that you do that. Remember last week we talked about the book Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, which uses the Bible verse Ephesians 5:33 that says that a man must love his wife as he loves himself, and a woman or wife must respect her husband or show reverence toward her husband. A woman needs to feel loved, and if she doesn't feel loved, she's going to react towards you without reverence and respect. So when you find out that your woman is not giving you the respect that you feel that you need as a man, you need to take a look to see if she feels unloved in any way. Because just like the scripture says, go and read Ephesians 5:33. Lock that in. Pull out the commentary. Really dig into that verse and read it. A man's greatest need is respect, is to be respected. And a woman's greatest need is to be loved. Without respect, when a man doesn't feel respect, he reacts by not showing love. When a woman feels like she's not being loved, she's going to react by not showing respect. So there's a continuous cycle that's going on. It's a continuous war and it's continuous friction that's going on because of this cycle that's continuing. All right. I pulled up an interview that CNN did with a woman who wrote a book about mama's boys, and her name is Dr. Deborah Mandel, and the book is called Dump That Chump. That's the name of the book. So CNN did an interview, so I'm going to give you some highlights from the interview tonight. So they interviewed her, and they said, Dr. Mandel, what causes a man to be a mama's boy? And so Dr. Mandel said, guys who have always been coddled and indulged by their moms often become mama's boys. Moms who do this tend to be fairly needy. See, we talked about that earlier. Especially when it comes to male attention, and therefore seek to create a relationship in which someone will feel very dependent upon her. As the son of this type of mother grows up, he often fears that mom will fall apart. Somebody just said this. If he so much as moves to the neighboring zip code. So it becomes a mutually parasitic relationship. She takes on, she sort of locks in like a parasite. She attaches herself like a parasite to her son, and she's sucking the ever-living blood out of him, and he feels that he has to be with her. So somebody said, so that's Ephesians 5 and 33. That's what that last verse was. All right. So in essence, this person's become their mom's pseudo husband. And what's said is either consciously or subconsciously, unconsciously, it's an unhealthy, imbalanced role that this mother has yoked up with her son. And any of you that hook up with a man like that's in this, you're going to find it so hard for him to really commit to you. So CNN goes on further, and they asked the Dr. Mandel this question. When evaluating the health of this guy's relationship with his mom, what do you recommend that a woman look for? She said, a guy with a healthy relationship with his mom, watch this, can say no to her and make his own decisions concerning her. And she allows her son to have an intimate relationship with other women without feeling jealous or trying to intrude into the relationship. Whenever you see a mother interfering, you got a good sign that this person is a mama's boy. If you realize that he is always talking about his mom, if he's talking, he can reach out to her, see how she's doing, but it's always over the top. But if you see that she's still doing his laundry, and there's other things, if there's something big is happening in his life, he'll tell her first before he tells you. I mean, all of these things. They asked Dr. Mandel there. They asked her, what would you recommend a woman do if it seems her guy is the one with the issues? Meaning, mama actually seems quite normal, but it's the guy that's jacked up. And she said, if this is the case, odds are that during his childhood, she created that unhealthy dependency between them. But when he reached adulthood, she was ready to let go, yet he wasn't quite ready to leave the nest emotionally and sometimes physically. Anybody know any men like that, where it may not be the mother, it's him? For some reason, she's let him go, but the man has still kind of doesn't seem like he's ready to leave the nest. Have any of y'all been in a situation like that? That's a rough situation. She said, if you're dating a guy like this, I recommend you cut your losses fast. I said that too. Unless he gets help and becomes proactive about growing up. Yeah, this man really needs to grow up. I mean, this is where he's got to understand that he's possibly about to lose the best woman he's ever had in you. If he doesn't wise up and realize that, you have to have the priority. Otherwise, he may never let go of his mom. Or worse yet, he'll try to turn you into his mom and expect the same thing from you. How many of y'all have dealt with that before? Where you've hooked up with a man and he was abusive, he was controlling, and then when you got to lock in with the mom, you realize, you say, oh, I see what's going on. He's trying to turn me into his mom. You need to let this man know from the gate, you're not his mother. You don't plan to be his mother. You're your own person. You bringing you to the table, and you're not changing. You're not changing into his mother. All of that kind of stuff. The topic tonight is how to love a woman, and I told you I fell across this baby's mama, across this mama's son type deal. I'm telling you, a man cannot love you. If you want, we want to know how does a man love a woman? A man cannot love you if he is a mama's boy. He's going to have so much difficulty doing that. All right. Next question they asked her. What if mama is the one who's not ready yet to cut the cord? Granted, he's not grabbing any scissors, but what if she is the driving force? Dr. Mandel said, when this is the case, it's better for you to gently coax him to start setting some boundaries with his mom. So he's got to be able to start to set some type of boundaries. Somebody here just said the divorce date, I can't go back to it. It's coming up. This causes a lot of divorces. Men who are unable to separate themselves from their mothers and they can't lock in with you as the woman and love you like the woman that you need to be loved. When you go against Bible, everything is wrong. Rob said it, I said it. We told you about Genesis. You know, a man needs to leave his mother and father, his father and mother, and needs to cleave to his wife. Can't do that if you and your mother have this unhealthy bond. If you cannot separate yourself and learn to love the woman who God has possibly given you. All right, Pastor Cherry, here's a question here. What about men who says that the woman he's looking for has to be like his mom? Okay, tell him God bless you, you know, and step off, because you're never going to live up to being his mom. I wouldn't even try. It's just impossible to do it. It's just impossible to do it. And every time you fail at it, every time you fail in the area, he's going to go back and tell his mother, and his mother is going to affirm certain things about you, and it's going to create a bigger wedge. Rochelle said, that was me, Pastor. I've been divorced since January 31st, 2014. I'm so sorry, Rochelle. That's happened to a lot of people. The doctor goes on further to say, if you've been together for a while and you're serious about one another, listen to this. If she's intrusive or disrespectful, it's time for your man, your husband, to talk to her. It's time for a chat. It's time for him to make some kind of decision. Again, he's got to understand, you want him to have a relationship with his mother, but you cannot be last. You can't be last. A warning: don't do this without your. It says that she had mentioned that maybe you need to sit down and talk to the mother. Try that. You know, try to see if that would work. If this person's a reasonable person, and only you know if this person's reasonable. But it says a warning: don't do this without your boyfriend or your husband's support. Otherwise, mom will likely go back to him and read him the riot act for allowing you to tell her how to perform her motherly duties, which only gives her reason to paint you out as a bad person. I sort of just said that too. Somebody asked, can a mama's boy be rehabilitated? I'm going to take 2 seconds so y'all can tell me what you think. Can a mama's boy can ever be rehabilitated? What do you think? Do you think a mama's boy can change? Let me know what you think. Type it. Type your answer. What you think? Can a mama's boy be rehabilitated? What do you think? While you're typing your answer, I'm going to go ahead and put the answer she said. She said, a mama's boy can definitely be rehabilitated. Michelle Armstrong said yes. But only if he's willing to acknowledge that his relationship with his mom is unhealthy and needs to be reconstructed or restructured. Restructured, that's the word. If you've tried multiple approaches to help him see the light, yet he continues to tell you to let it go or don't butt in, it's time for you to exit. DC Dapper said no. In general, the younger your guy is. So we're talking about rehabilitation. Can a man be rehabilitated to come out of this mama's boy syndrome and to attach himself to you and to love you? Lila O'Neill said yes, if he can change if he wants to. Tamika said people can change, but it has to be their own will. All right. So the doctor here said, in general, the younger your guy is, the more slack you can cut him when it comes to cutting the cord. as long as he's at least taking baby steps at trying to get older, trying to be independent of his mom, then that's showing some kind of progress. And but you got to understand, if you are so frustrated to the point where you're angry, demeaning, pushy, aggressive, judgmental, you're going to send him right back into a tighter grip into his mother's arms. So Jackie said at 50 years old, yeah, a lot of times that's rough. If he's 50 and he's locked in with his mom like this, you know, you're in some serious trouble there. And I don't know if it's just going to take a heck of a lot. But prayer changes things. And again, I would only invest if the guy's 50 years old and he's still locked in with his mama to the point where they're running your show and you're not married to him. I would, but if you're married to him, you know, that's something different. So that's where I'm at in terms of, my wife just said, if he's a mama's boy at 40, 45, he's not going to change. Said Rob Hubbard said 12-step Mothers Anonymous. Yeah, that is funny, Rob. That is funny. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you run across a man and you realize that he's a mama's boy, don't marry him until you make sure that that is resolved. And you got to make sure that an umbilical cord is cut. Because if not, you're setting yourself up for a bunch of drama. That mother is going to run your relationship. That person's going, I'm telling you. And whenever you try to intervene, they're going to make you out to be the bad person. So how to love a woman, part 3. A man has got to leave and cleave. You know, he's just got to do it. He's got to realize that you are the most important thing to him. He's got to make sure that you two are locked in. He's got to make sure that you feel loved and that you don't feel threatened in any kind of way. You've got to make sure, he's got to make sure, again, before he even tries to go out there and love women, he needs to make sure he's got this down. A lot of men are going to pursue a relationship without fixing this. But ladies, you got to catch this at the door. My wife and I were watching Cooley High the other night. Remember they had that quarter party where, you know, if you had a quarter, you could get in. And, you know, if he doesn't have any money, he can't get into your party. Which meaning if he's still locked in, you know, because he's waiting on his mama to give him some money. I'm talking an analogy. I'm not talking, you know, actually money. Then he can't come into your party. He just can't. He can't come into your party. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what that is. I've hit that enough. You all have some decisions to make. If you're in this situation, you all have some decisions to make. You're going to have to pray, and you have a decision to make. But if he's not willing to change, and you can almost expect to be number 2, and you can expect him and his mama to run your relationship, and you can expect not to have any say or much say. You can expect her to run your relationship. So women, if you want to teach a man, you really shouldn't have to teach a man, but if he's stepping to you and he wants to know how, if he wants to know how to love a woman and he steps to you, you got to let him know that you are a woman. You're a complete woman, and you're not going to tolerate being second fiddle to his mom. I mean, that's it. Let me segue here to another area for 15 more minutes. No. Before I do that, let me answer two people asked questions. I did get 2 questions here. Rochelle Jordan, are you with me tonight? Let me know if you're watching tonight. Rochelle, Miss Diva ain't having it, Jordan. Let me know if you're with me tonight. I'm going to give you a second to see if you are with us tonight. Rochelle Jordan had a question, and she said, it's a good question. So I'm pointing this out to all the mothers, all of you mothers that have boys. Oh, Michelle, okay. All right, Michelle is with us tonight. Michelle, Miss Diva ain't having it, Jordan asked a question in our last video. And she said, as a single parent of a boy, how do you teach your son not to be a mama's boy? That's a great question. All right, one more time. Rochelle Jordan said, as a single parent of a boy, how do you teach your son not to be a mama's boy? I need you to Google the process of an eagle and how she pushes her young out of the nest and how that whole process takes place. It's got to happen. My baby, my wife ready to say something. She know I ain't gonna say nothing, baby. I'm not gonna give you away about you and your son. I ain't gonna. I made it in my mind tonight. Because I want dinner tomorrow night. I'm not gonna talk about you and your son, baby. My wife just commented tonight. She told me to hush up. Ain't it amazing how your rib knows you better than she knows you better than you know yourself sometimes. Your rib knows you. I'm not gonna say anything about you, baby. I'm gonna answer Rochelle Jordan's question. But Google how the process of how a mother eagle trains her children to fly and show them when it's time for them to leave the nest. And you can use that as an analogy in terms of how to make sure your son doesn't become a mama's boy. Ladies, I love this question that Rochelle Jordan asked. You've got to make sure, watch part 1, part 2 of how to love a woman. If you are not complete and you have a son, 9 times out of 10, you are going to gravitate in an abnormal way towards your son. So I thank God I came along, and I thank God, I'm going to say it, my wife's watching, so I thank God I came along, and I thank God that my wife's son's father is such a strong guy. He's a great guy. He and I are friends, and it's between the two of us have made sure that Mary's son didn't turn into a mama's boy, because he was on his way, and because mama didn't want to let him go, and she locked in with him. But thank God for his father, and thank God for me. My wife just says Darryl thinks he came into my son's life just in the nick of time. Yeah, it wasn't just me though. Like I said, it was his father, me and his dad. The things that we were able to do. Me and his dad talked regarding your son. We said, this is what he needs, and we agreed. And a lot of times, Mary, you didn't agree with us, but we were right. Me and your son's father, we were right in what we were saying. And it helped. Y'all see I'm trying to ease my way out of here. And it helped him to become a man and to help cut that cord. So, Rochelle, you're going to have to, here's how you answer this. You're going to, God bless you, Wanderlin Mobley. And Julian Harris, God bless you. I know you're laughing at me, I know. And you see how I did that? I slid it out of there without getting in trouble. My wife's at work, so hopefully I'm not in trouble. I'll know tomorrow morning, but I slid in and out of there quick. God's given me wisdom, I tell you. Nothing like wisdom. Rochelle Jordan, so let me help you here. As a single parent, you said, how do you teach your son not to be a mama's boy? You teach him independence. You teach him independence. Remember how people told you when your child falls, your son falls, and he looks at you to see if he got your attention. And if he has your attention, depending on your relationship, he cries, he makes a big fuss out of it. Because he fell, but he didn't hurt. He's not really hurt. You've got to be able, I'm getting ready to help you, Rochelle, and other mothers. You got to be able to, how they tell you, don't make a big deal out of his fall. If he's not hurt, don't make a big deal. An awesome example, all of us saw Ray. We saw that movie when Ray Charles was blind. He was a kid. And his mother, they were in that cabin. They were in the house. And, his mother, because, she was feeling, she was devastated for her son because he used to be able to see. And then he lost his brother. So that's another thing. So here it is. We talked about it. She lost a child. I don't know. I don't know if I got the timing right or not. But I think I think the child died first. Anyway, she lost a son. Then here it is. The son was blind, was losing his sight, and it was thank you, Tamika. It was a good movie. It was a devastating thing, and she watched him. He started to cry, and he started to carry on because he wanted his mama's attention. But it dawned on her, he's getting ready to go to the school for the blind. I've got to let him go. It's a devastating thing for me. But I've got to be able to start separating myself from him in order for him to be able to have some kind of independence. So he cried out for her, and she purposely laid back. This is what you got to do, Rochelle. She purposely laid back. And when she laid back, he started feeling for the cricket. Y'all not with me tonight. He started feeling and listening. He heard the certain things happening. The train go by. He heard certain things happening. Oh, he died first. Okay, all right. So I'm right then. So that, like I said, that was that connection. She already lost a child. So here it is now. The second child is losing his sight, and she's getting ready to lose him because he's got to go to the school for the blind. I'm a father. I'm a man, and that scene, it tore me up, and I can only imagine as a mother, having to get yourself ready to let go and help give your son that independence that he needs. Y'all remember that scene? Go back and watch that scene. So that's what you have to do. You've got to teach him independence. Do it. The younger he is, the better it is for him. Start teaching him independence. And then you got to make sure that your life is on point. Because if your life is not on point, you're going to squeeze the ever-living life out this kid. I'm just telling you. It's all abnormal. All right. I got a question in my inbox. Mary, you just telling on me, what are you doing? All right. Anyway, somebody inboxed me and they said, how do you get a mama's boy to realize that his wife comes first, not his mama? Good question. And we've talked about this, but I want to specifically hit you with this. Sit down with him. You've got to do it in a way where you don't emasculate him. Read him the scripture. Rochelle says she has 3 boys that she's teaching them independence right now. Tamika said, my 2-year-old independent, he doesn't want you to do anything, is independent. He doesn't want you to do anything for him. All right, at 2 years old, that's all right. Read him the scripture. Let him know how important it is to leave his mother and to cleave to you. Get the book, Love and Respect. Get 2 copies. Give him one you have one. That book is incredible. I recommend it for all couples. All couples. Sit down and say, we're going to read a chapter a week or whatever. Do that however y'all can do in your leisure. Read a chapter a week, and then you sit down together. Maybe y'all can do it kind of over dinner or outside of the house or when the kids are not around. Just some kind of intimate type of setting. Sit down with each other and discuss the chapter. And that's going to, there's some principles in there. That's going to, you have that book? Okay, good, Tamika. You're going to help your husband, and he'll be able to see another person's point of view. It won't just be you fussing or looking at it as you fussing. He will see it. He will see a man's perspective, another man's perspective regarding what you should do. So he's going to hear somebody else's opinion, and it's going to help. If that should help, pray together and let him know that you love him. Let him know that you're here to support him. And between those steps, I believe you can help get this man on the right track if he's willing. Everybody here tonight said the man has to be willing. If you've ever glued two things together like wood, when you repair a piece of wooden furniture, you know first that you must clean off completely both surfaces. Anything that's getting ready to be brought together, to be glued, you got to make sure both surfaces are clean. And then you put enough glue on them and then hold the two pieces together long enough for them to make a good connection and a bond until the glue dries. If you do that and you use very good glue, it's very hard to separate the pieces. Thank you, Maria. So you got to understand, that's why I told you to join with a man, you got to make sure you're clean. All right? Because the marriage is going to be the glue, along with your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. You're getting ready to bond. Somebody said Gorilla Glue, like Patty, like the box of Patty's Pies. You got to make sure that you're clean, you're complete. You got to make sure this guy is not stuck with the adhesive of his mama. You got to make sure he's clean, and you got to make sure you have really great glue. And thank you, Angel Ann. That great glue is the Lord Jesus Christ. You're clean. Lord Jesus Christ is the glue. He's clean. He's not stuck on his mama. And this is where the bonding comes from. It's 11 o'clock. This is where the bonding comes from in terms of making sure intimacy happens between the two of you if you're married. Making sure that love and respect is continuously flowing. You're allowing enough time for the bonding process to take place. You're allowing Genesis 23 and 24, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh.